Hi there. I like to give tutorials on YouTube because I find that it's easier if you can see me making an item. It helps you to be able to make that item as well. And I learn new things, and usually the other person gets to learn new things as well. So that's what we're going to do. I have here is this 3x4 item, and I'm going to make a jar, kind of like I did in the preview. But the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add a background so you can kind of see what I'm doing a little better. You can tell I have a lot of styles loaded, but our styles are specifically the ones that you got from the download. You can see here they each have different names. The engrave, this is the wood lid style, one with shadow, one without, the jar text, and the glass jar themselves. All right, so I'm going to start just kind of like building a jar like I normally would. I like to think of things in terms of the item itself. So this would be the bottom of the jar. And I'm going to go very simple. I'm not going to edit too much. And I would just go ahead and right away add my glass um, jar style. All right. Then I would add a lid, kind of like this. Actually, I need to change how rounded those corners are because it looks a little wonky to me, right? We're going to change that to like 25. Sure. All right. Now, the style for the jar, if I just apply it to white, you can see what it does. It does an overlay of the color. So you pick your own color. So I have these browns here, and you can see how that changes it. I kind of like that one. So we're going to go with that. And so that's um, our wood style, wood lid style. All right, then above that, I'm going to add a text layer because I want this jar to be something. I'm going to call it, let's get a pretty font. I think I'm going to go with a Thirsty Script font because it's really pretty and I think it'll translate well. So we're going to say this is a candy jar, so it's going to say candy. All right, and then what I'll do, I'm just going to resize it a little bit so it fits our little jar like that. And I want to edit it a little bit so it's kind of on there like a kind of like how the um, mason jars are. So I'm going to transform my path. I'm going to skew it like that, you see. And what this lets me do is kind of pull it up like that. And then I'll bring it down a little bit. Okay. And I apply that. And then I'm going to use this style here. There's two different ones. And this kind of just adds a little bit of a glossy sort of like it would be embossed on glass. All right. Now, the last uh, little option that we have engraved is one thing I noticed is jar lids. You know, they have like a bit of a divot where you screw on and off. So what I did is I take my style here, the wood jar lid. I go ahead and I rasterize the layer style, and then I create a layer above it, and then I clip that layer. It's Control G, and Elements or Control Alt G in Photoshop. And then I just get a brush tool. I choose usually a hard round brush. I then make sure that the spacing is set to 0 for the brush, so brush settings and spacing 0. And then I make sure it's not too big. This is kind of big, so I'm going to make it like 8 pixels. And I'm going to hold my Shift key down and just draw. And you can see that my computer is kind of freezing up, so it didn't do right. Let's try that again. I'm going to hold my Shift key down until I know for sure that it stopped. I'm so sorry. All right, here we go again. It hates me. You see that? Did you see that? It hates me. But you get what I mean. I hate that my computer does this at the most inopportune times. But we have here the engrave jar lines. So if I do like that, well, it looks a little wonky because my things didn't work the way I wanted it to. But what it does is it does create a little bit more of a realistic effect, as you can see, sort of, if my thing didn't, ruin it. But in fact, I'm such a perfectionist that I can't stop. I can't stop myself. It has to be right. It has to. And we'll do the third one. Hopefully you don't mind dealing a little bit with my crazy. So here we go. Now I can use that and it looks the way that it was intended, like that there. And now the fun thing, let's say I said I was adding candy, so like it's a candy jar. So what I would do is if I wanted it to be like its own element and have the candy in there, I would go underneath all these layers and maybe just create some little circles that are going to be my little balls of candy. And then I would apply their own style. And as you see, I have a lot of styles, and you probably own some of my other styles. So hopefully this will be working for you as well. And we can just pretend that they're little like gumdrops or something. Little red gumdrops. I'm a fan. I think it's kind of cute. Like that. And eventually Photoshop will catch up. But you see what I mean. I could just duplicate if my computer wasn't being so slow and choose different colors, you know, apply these styles and have a little candy jar as an element. And once I'd finished, I would then just merge my layers together like that. And that's it. That's how it works. I hope this has been somewhat useful for you and that you have a wonderful day. I apologize for having taken so long to get this to you. Thank you and bye bye.